There's an age when your body quietly shifts from building itself up to gradually winding down. Most people assume that happens somewhere in their 60s. The actual number may surprise you. Swedish researchers recently published findings from one of the longest fitness studies ever conducted, tracking the same people for 47 years. What they discovered challenges everything we thought about aging. I'm your host, and today we're looking at when physical decline actually begins, why it matters, and what you can realistically do about it at any age. In 1971, researchers in Sweden began following over 400 teenagers. They didn't just check in once or twice. They tested them repeatedly over nearly half a century. The participants were born in 1958. By the time the final data was collected, they had aged from 16 to 63. This is rare longitudinal research that actually followed people through their entire prime years. The results were published in January 2026 in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia and Muscle. And the headline finding? Physical decline starts earlier than almost anyone expects. Before we get into the numbers, let's understand why this study matters. Most fitness research follows people for a few years at most. That's like watching the first 10 minutes of a 3-hour movie. Short-term studies can show correlations, but they can't distinguish between what happens because of aging itself versus what happens because of lifestyle changes at certain life stages. When you're 35, your career often demands more of your time. You might have young children. Sleep becomes a luxury. Exercise gets pushed aside. Is decline at that age biological or circumstantial? This Swedish study helps untangle those questions because it followed the same individuals across every life stage, measuring their actual fitness rather than just asking about their habits. The participants weren't professional athletes. They were ordinary people living ordinary lives in Sweden, which makes the findings more applicable to the rest of us. According to the Karolinska Institutet, the study tracked 427 participants for 47 years with repeated testing, making it one of the longest fitness studies ever conducted. Researchers didn't rely on self-reported data. They actually measured aerobic capacity, muscular strength, and functional performance at multiple points across nearly 5 decades. The findings showed measurable drops in fitness and strength beginning around age 35 and continuing gradually through midlife, with overall physical capacity declining between 30 and 48% by age 63. Here's an important nuance the study revealed. Women started to lose muscular power before men, as early as age 32, while both genders only began seeing declining aerobic endurance at age 45. That difference matters for practical reasons. If muscular decline starts earlier, then strength training may need to become a priority sooner than cardiovascular exercise for preserving overall function. The study authors noted that by age 63, overall physical capacity had dropped between 30 and 48% from peak levels, depending on the specific measure being tested. But here's where the study gets encouraging. Participants who increased their activity levels later in life improved their physical capacity by roughly 5 to 10%. That improvement came even when people started exercising in their 40s, 50s, or beyond. The body maintained its ability to respond to training well past the point where decline had already begun. The research team emphasized that physical decline starts around age 35, but exercise at any age still meaningfully preserves fitness. That word meaningfully matters here. Some experts have questioned whether decline at 35 truly reflects biology or simply reflects lifestyle changes common at that age. Career demands increase. Family responsibilities multiply. Free time shrinks. The study can't completely separate biological aging from behavioral changes, but it does show that people who maintained activity levels retained more capacity than those who became sedentary. Importantly, the study found that while physically active individuals retained higher overall fitness levels throughout life, activity did not completely prevent age-related decline. This is an honest finding. Exercise isn't a fountain of youth that stops aging in its tracks, but it significantly slows the rate of decline and maintains a higher baseline function. The study raises questions about whether more aggressive intervention before age 35 could slow the decline curve more dramatically. We don't have that data yet, but it's a reasonable hypothesis. For now, the evidence strongly suggests that building a fitness foundation in your 20s and 30s creates a buffer against later decline. You're not preventing decline, you're starting from a higher peak. The cohort study began in 1971 as part of the Swedish Physical Activity and Fitness Research Initiative. These participants were just teenagers when researchers first measured their baseline fitness. By measuring fitness objectively at multiple time points, researchers could track not just decline but the rate of decline, which varied significantly between individuals based on their activity levels. What makes this particularly valuable is that the same measurement protocols were used across all testing periods. You're comparing apples to apples across 47 years, which is methodologically unusual. So what does this mean for you practically? The first takeaway is simple. Don't wait for decline to start. If you're approaching or past 35, prioritizing exercise now can preserve fitness you might otherwise lose. The research shows it's never too late to start. People who became more active later in life still saw 5 to 10% improvements in physical capacity. That's not nothing. Based on the findings, including both strength training and cardiovascular exercise makes sense. The study found these decline at different rates and through different biological mechanisms. For women especially, strength training before age 35 may be particularly important given the earlier muscular power decline the study documented. This is actionable information for planning your fitness priorities. Here's something worth accepting: some decline is inevitable, but exercise can significantly slow the rate and maintain a higher baseline function throughout your life. If you're currently sedentary, starting with even moderate activity creates measurable benefits. The study didn't require participants to become elite athletes to show improvements. The key seems to be consistency over intensity, maintaining regular activity through life transitions, career changes, parenthood, retirement appears to matter more than any specific workout protocol. The original study cohort was born in 1958. They've now lived through dramatic changes in how we understand fitness, nutrition, and aging. The core biology, however, hasn't changed. Some critics have pointed out that this cohort was Swedish, which means high baseline health literacy, universal healthcare access, and cultural norms around outdoor activity. Results might differ in other populations. That said, the biological mechanisms of aging are universal. The specific numbers might shift in different populations, but the patterns likely hold broadly. The researchers measured multiple dimensions of fitness: maximal oxygen uptake, which reflects cardiovascular capacity, muscular strength in various muscle groups, and functional performance like balance and coordination. Each of these measures declined at different rates and starting at different ages. Understanding which specific capacities decline first helps in designing targeted interventions. If you found this breakdown of the research useful, hitting subscribe means you'll catch our next episode. We put out new content regularly covering evidence-based health topics like this one. Always consult your doctor before making significant changes to your exercise routine, especially if you have existing health conditions or haven't been active for a long time. The 47-year Swedish study offers something valuable: evidence that exercise matters at every age, not because it stops aging, but because it changes the trajectory. Whether you're 25 and building a foundation, 45 and noticing early changes, or 65 and wondering if it's too late, the research gives the same answer: movement helps. That's today's look at the 47-year Swedish fitness study. The science is clear. Decline starts earlier than most people assume, but exercise remains beneficial at any age. The best time to start exercising was probably 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Whatever age you are, your body still responds to movement. I'm your host from Better Health Faster. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. The Swedish cohort represented a natural experiment in human aging: same population, same measurement methods, different lifestyle choices leading to dramatically different outcomes over 4 decades. Researchers found that the rate of decline accelerated after age 55, making the earlier decades of fitness maintenance even more critical for preserving function into older age. The implications extend beyond individual health. As populations age globally, understanding the timeline of physical decline helps public health systems plan for future care needs and interventions. The practical message from this research might be the simplest of all. Stay active now, whatever that looks like for your current circumstances. Future you will benefit from present you's consistency. The study's strength lies in its consistency, the same tests administered to the same people over their entire adult lives. This eliminates many confounding variables that plague shorter studies. Critics note that what counts as physical activity has changed dramatically since 1971. Fewer manual labor jobs, more sedentary commutes, different recreational norms. The study captures this transition. Whatever form of movement you choose, the research supports doing it regularly rather than intensely. Moderate activity maintained over years outperforms sporadic intense efforts in the data. The participants who showed the smallest decline over time weren't necessarily gym enthusiasts. Many simply maintained active lifestyles: walking, gardening, cycling for transportation, recreational sports. This suggests that formal exercise programs, while valuable, aren't the only path to maintaining physical capacity. Building movement into daily life achieves similar results for many people. The research confirms what many suspected: our bodies are designed to move, and they reward consistent movement with maintained function. The specifics matter less than the habit. If you're over 35 and haven't established regular exercise habits, the research suggests starting now yields real benefits. Not because it reverses time, but because it changes your trajectory forward. The 5 to 10% improvement in physical capacity seen in later life exercisers translated to meaningful real-world differences: better mobility, reduced fall risk, maintained independence. This content is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your health routine. Understanding when decline begins isn't meant to discourage you. It's meant to inform action. Knowledge of timing creates opportunity for intervention.